Good evening and welcome to War Thunder. I'm Old Dead Man, your host. We're taking a look at a match I played a few days ago. It was just one of those ones where it was skin of the teeth. Oh, very close. Balanced on a razor's edge. So, we'll take a look at this overview of the battlefield, and through the magic of editing, we're going to fast forward to a more interesting part. And here we see the enemy team. They have spread out to a wide front on their side. They are not focusing at all, whereas we have managed to put in a situation where we have a few people rushing the point, but the bulk of our team is actually going for the long-distance sniping positions instead. We have looks like three that are working the flanks. So while it's a balanced type of an arrangement, it doesn't work out so well for us. We're going against those German tanks that have the heavy frontal armor. And as I approach the capture point, we see a puma pulling onto the point. Someone's already lit him up. And I hear it, so I try and engage. Now, he's done a smart here in that he's smoked up, and then he's also moved to a position that he's not in the middle of the smoke. So I managed to get a lucky hit on him and disable his transmission. That holds him still until the smoke dissipates. You'll see. Now, I've tied in with this IS-1 next to me here, and he and I are buddies for right now. I want to use him as my meat shield, so I can try and engage targets without being an issue. As soon as that smoke clears, somebody else, bam, nails him. Not me, but, you know, it is what it is. So, we continue to move on into the point, and I see the tanks maneuvering over there on the far side. A few rounds to try and keep them confused, and you know, maybe I'll take out a barrel or something. But the IS-1's getting hit, and that's a concern. And that was my fault there. Now I'm trying to take shelter behind him as best I can, figuring that Panther that I can see is more likely to shoot at the heavier target. But one thing I've discovered in War Thunder, they never shoot at the heavier target. They shoot at the more annoying target. And that's always me. Et voila. So it's time to jump in the air. At this point, now that we're back, I've confirmed that there's no active air that I can spot, so I'm going to go looking for a target to strafe. And just as I do so, I see something moving right near the point. Why, it's a puma! Me and pumas, we're best of buds right now. So I managed to put some rounds into him and light him on fire. He took out his engine, the whole 9 yards. So we're going to come back around. We're going to give him a few more of my bits of Swedish meatballs here. I like delivering them in tiny portions. Nom 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 nom. Tasty, tasty, tasty. Nom 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 nom. Pull out and coming around for another food delivery. We'll just say I'm the Uber Eats of War Thunder. So around we come, and in it comes for another round. And that takes him out. Now I extend low because I'm hearing all kinds of fire going on around me, and I really don't want to attract too much attention. As I do so, I scan to my right, and I see an enemy aircraft open up some space to the battlefield, because this is about the time that people start tending to bring AA guns, like that one. And as I do, I see the ME-410. This guy's aggressive. And he goes for the attack, and I dodge his rounds. Pull around. And go for it, and actually hit him at this point, though don't do any significant damage. I try to pull around on his tail, but my ears start talking to me. I hear another plane. So I roll to the left, because I know that's the direction he's coming from. And this Focke-Wulf 190 passes right over my head. Roll back around, and load up on him. I get a few hits there, not a ton. And he goes into the vertical. He's going up. Good decision, usually, with a Focke-Wulf 190. The J-21, I'm really not that energetic, but I decided to give him some more Swedish meatballs too. So he gets some rounds into him during his up and down here, and he's decided at this point he doesn't want any piece of me anymore. So after this next turn, he's going to start running. Of course, it helps that I've gained the advantage of being on his tail. Now, he could outrun me, most likely, but I put enough bullets in him, and he doesn't quite catch it. He's low, and so in he goes. Alright, attention focused back on the other two planes I've seen. Scanning to make sure nobody's coming up on my 6. And I think that one on the left looks really juicy as he pushes up. And as I push up to meet him, I didn't even notice this ME410 until my ears, once again, told me something was wrong. So you could see us literally nearly impact each other at that close. We were so close. So I roll in on his 6, and I decide this guy's too aggressive. I cannot leave him alive. No way. So I just start unloading on him, and his tail gunner finally snipes my pilot, but the fire takes him out too. So, all in all, I'm going to consider that a good one. Here's the instant replay from another perspective here. We are literally turning around each other, trying to get into that position. He's using his tail gunner effectively, and I, again, have decided to go ahead and press it. So, he takes me out, but that fire burns his butt out. Now it's time for me to drop back to the dirt. And here's the problem. At this point, I've got only a few tanks I can work with. I want to spade this one, so I'm going to bring it in next. And the disposition of our forces tells me that we have been pushed back to the spawn. We don't have any position out on the field with the exception of one of our tanks, and he's about to get killed. So I'm having kind of seen where the shots are coming from and seen the disposition of our own forces. I know that I'm going to have to flank and then push into the cap zone from the side. But time is of the essence. So I have to push quickly and push effectively. Let's cut some of this out and we'll pick up where I get engaged with the enemy again. I've spotted this tiger, and he is causing trouble for my team. So at this point, it's time for me to start engaging targets. I got to do something, or we're not going to survive. Problem is, I can't get my gun over the railroad track berm. So I push forward a little bit until I have a good firing position. Unfortunately, I'm slightly too late as he kills one of my buddies. But he is dead. And I'm going to continue pushing forward here. I spotted this Jagdpanzer 4.5 and I misidentified it as a T-28. You know, I'm not perfect, guys. You know, I try my best. But I switch over to my APDS rounds so I can make sure I can go through that thick frontal armor. Boom. There we go. Right in there. And I'll take the red breach there. That's probably going to be enough to prevent him from killing me back. So wait for... Now I've noticed the sights have been kind of bouncing a bit more. Well, the second shot takes out his gunner, so he smokes up. Now I'm going to push over to his side to make sure that he doesn't have a side anymore. As the smoke clears, I clear the edge of this building, run over the shed, and then I make sure he doesn't have anything left. Voila. Now I'm at the point where the ticket bleed is critical. I decide I've got to push down towards the point, so I'm going to push as quick as I can, take out as many that I can from the side as I do so, and just try my best to pull something out of this. We are really on the ropes at this point. Nobody even near the cap point, and my team is getting slaughtered. Now, initially I thought I saw movement, but it turns out I was just blind. So I tried that for a moment or two, and moved on. There is, however, a fly in my ointment. This panther I did not see, but he saw me. And he lit me on fire and took out my engine. So I just try and get this achingly slow turret rotation around in time, but it's too late. And once again, the tickets are critical. I'm going to move us forward a little bit more, but just so you know, I decided right off the bat that we are at the point where I had to just push flat out, straight in. It's not very often where you can point at one decision, one action that makes all the difference, that turns the tide of the battle. This is it. I put it right there in the chat. I'm just going to flat out charge the point. I know it's suicide. And if it wasn't for the fact that we have these tickets and these timers, I wouldn't. This would be tactical suicide. Knowing that I've got an enemy force that's larger, they've got at least double our numbers, and that are more heavily armored and are more heavily armed than everything I've got on my team. But I push straight in. And that decap happens at 940 points left. But we're not out of the woods yet. They still have the ticket advantage, they still have the numbers advantage, and we are going to be pushing this straight to the wire. $840 points. 740 points. They're taking my team out left, right, and center. Bombs were meant for me, but bad drop. Now I know that once this is capped, I'm going to need to hide as best I can, but there's not a whole lot of hiding places on this point. I can sit behind a building, but the air that's up can see me, and I'm in a light tank. Plus, there's a round right over my my hole there. Somebody knows where I'm at. But you know what? I can't dilly-dally. I cannot dither on this. I decide I'm going to hide in the best place I can. A slight dip over here that is sitting in the shade of a tree. And as I do, the airplane thinks he's got me spotted. And he lights up a dead tank. I'll take it. Be very, very quiet. I'm being sneaky. 640 points. And there's an enemy who thinks he's going to push in here. First shot, he doesn't even know what hits him. Poor guy. I mean, honest to goodness, I caught him entirely by surprise. And since I was sitting in the shadow, he didn't see me when he actually panned over the top of my tank. So, second round, by the way, we're at 540 points. Now 440 points. They've got us on the ropes. It's going to be that close. But we have the ticket bleed on our side. 340 points. Oh, it's close. It's going to be close. Just a few more seconds. 240 points. 140 points. But their tickets are bleeding bad now. We have the advantage now at 140 points. 44, 0, and there's the victory. Thank you very much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give me a thumbs up. You have a great rest of the day, and we will see you in War Thunder.